Welcome back. So far, we've created our register user function. We're not done with it yet, um, but what we're gonna do right now is just we're going to test out um, what we have so far. Okay, but in order for us to test out what we have so far, uh, we need to we need to export this function. So let's do module.export. Gonna export register user. And before we can use that in our server .js file, we need to go into our route, into our user route, um, which we don't have yet. So let's create that user route.js. Let's require Express, and we're gonna create a router from Express. Okay, and then we are going to extract register user. We are extracting that from our user controller, and then we're going to do const. I'm sorry, not const. We're going to do router dot. That's going to be a post. Okay. Register, and we're going to pass it register user. Just like that. Actually, no, that's a capital U. And we have to export our router. But let's keep this right here. Let's copy that. Let's paste it right on top of it for simplicity. Now we can go into our server. We can do app use. Going to do API/users, and when we do that, we are going to require from user routes. Okay. Now, having done that, we can now go into our Thunder client. Let's save this. Why is it? Oh, I'm getting double / here. So let's get rid of this. Oh, okay. So I need to show you what that base URL is. Okay. So in my environment, I created a variable, and I called it base URL. Okay. So anytime I wanna use, so I don't have to do http ://localhost 5000/API. I don't have to do that. So I just create that in my environment, and in my collection, I just do base URL user register. Now I'm going to go to the body. Email, gonna pass an email. My email is going to be alex23@mail.com. Okay. If everything works well, I should be getting an error message saying a password is required. Okay. Let's test that out. Right. A valid password with a minimum of 6 characters is required. Let's say password. Okay, so let's say the password is 12345. It is, I should still be getting the same error message because I'm sending 5 characters here. Okay, let's put that to 6. Now that I have a valid email, I have a valid password, this same thing should be returned to me. Okay, now I have a, sorry, not this, a user object is returned to me. Although it has an ID, we didn't save it yet. Okay, so now that everything is working as it should, let's before we can save the new user, we need to do something about that password, because the password right now is just plain. Okay, so let's hash that password so that way it's safe. Okay, so in order for us to do that, we're going to be using bcrypt. All right, so we're going to do a salt. We're going to create a salt, and we're going to say new user, and we're gonna hash it. So the new user password is going to be equal to it's the bcrypt that hash is going to take the password and the salt, and it's going to set that the user password to that. Okay, and then once that is done, we're going to say await new user that save, and it's going to return that new user. Then and only then will it be saved in our database. Okay, so let me show you. Register user. We now have our user. Okay, it's the first version of that user. It was updated at and created at when we now have a hashed password. Okay, but we do not want to send this to the user. Okay, what we want is to create the user but send a token. Okay, and in order for us to do that, we're going to be using JSON Web Token. So let's go back to our user controller. We're going to create a payload. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's see if it works like this. Let's say function send token. We're going to pass the user. We're going to pass the user. We're going to say const payload. Okay, payload user. The ID is going to be equal to the user underscore ID. Okay, that's our payload. Now let's sign that token. All right. We're going to pass the payload. We're going to do process.env.jwt secret. Okay, now this JWT secret, if we go back in our .env file, this is it. Okay, all right. We're going to say it expires. We're going to give it an expiration date. Not a date, expires in, let's say expires in 8 hours. Okay, so how many, so 60 seconds. That's in 1 hour times 8. Okay, 28,800. Okay. So 8 hours. That's the equivalent of 8 hours. Now we're gonna say error or token. Okay. I'm gonna say if there's an error, throw the error. If there's no error, return the token. Okay. So now we do this. We say send token and we pass it the new user. The reason why I created this into its own function is because we're pretty much gonna be using the same functionality for when we log in the user. So that's why I'm doing it like this. Never done it like that, but let's see if that works. We're going to open our database right now. I'm gonna go to our address book, and you see that we already have a user. Okay, it's Alex23. That's the same one that we created earlier. Okay, but we're gonna delete that. All right, let's delete that one and recreate it and see. We should be getting a token instead of the actual user. All right, so let's see what that is. Okay, so as you can see, it is hanging here because it's not returning anything, but it is creating it. It's just not sending us anything. No, you know what? Let's just take all of this. I'll figure out a way to do this maybe later on. But yeah, let's, right here, it should be new user. Forgot to change that. Gotta go back, delete, register, and voila, we have our token. Okay, so we're going to stop this right here. In the next video, we are going to work on the login functionality. Okay, actually, let's create another user. Let's say Peter. Whoops. Let's say Peter 46. All right, and if we go to our user collection, we should have two users. We have Peter and we have Alex23. Okay, so in the next video, we'll try to log into one of them. See you in the next one.